It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single troublemaker in possession of an absurd problem with no reasonable or realistic solutions must be in want of a made-up wife. In Eyes on the Prize, you are troublemakers. Maybe you don't think you are. Maybe to you, your most unfortunate and ludicrous circumstances are no fault of your own, and it is only an additional misfortune that you've been driven to such lengths. But the fact of the matter is that when all is said and done, you need your situation upended so badly, you've ended up fake married about it. So it goes. Unfortunately for you, there's nothing more appealing to the rumour-mongers and scandal hobbyists of court society than an unusual marriage. If the two of you want to have a chance to meet your goals, you'll have to play your parts, and you'll have to play them immaculately. Get your shit done, don't get caught, and absolutely, positively, do not fall in love for real. That would be so fucking embarrassing. Hello! This is going to be a two-person Let's Play of a TTRPG. And, of course, if you're here, you know me. I'm Talen Lee, he, him, and...
And I'm Foxley, she, her, the hairy asexual goblin who lives in Talen's drawers.
Now, because we're both going through the same microphone, no puppets this time, we are looking at Eyes on the Prize, a game I promised I'd check out last year and didn't.
The game I like the sound of, so I heckled social media and said, hey, should I make Talen play this? And all of several people said yes, definitely.
This is by Ira Prince Vols. I know nothing about them. I know nothing about their production company. I basically just got handed a book. And the thing is, when it comes to TTRPGs, especially indie TTRPGs, that's kind of how it goes. You've mostly just got a book. There's not a community or a culture you necessarily plug into. So, this Let's Play is going to be us, as best we can, soup to nuts, just starting playing the game and seeing how well this book teaches us and induces us to play the game it represents.
That seems fair. I'll say in advance, I'm not going to hold it against the book that I kind of suck at improv. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I tend to panic when I'm asked to come up with ideas on the spot, which I sort of forgot when I let Twitter control our destiny. So it goes.
Alright, okay. So, for the setup, we need the things that we currently have. We have 2 to 4 players, which is us.
Hello, I'm the 2 to 4.
Yep. We have a D8.
Oh, that works so well!
Per player. A standard deck of playing cards, jokers removed, which would be this.
Ooh. Now I wish I'd done the dice sound effect.
Many small tokens. We're probably just going to tally things on paper. Printed play sheet and printed Maratal trials. A stopwatch or timer. We're next to a computer. We're going to use that. 1 to 3 hours of playtime, plus a little more for character creation.
We'll see how that goes.
Things do not look good for the Homestar Water War.
You know what? We'll play it as it falls.
Their rulebook starts at a section on safety, very typical lines and veils, and X card tools. These are not to be ignored just because you happen to be partners with a person. This is a good tool set to have. You should definitely familiarize yourself with it.
For the sake of this broadcast, you can assume that Talen and I have already established these things off mic.
Yeah, and also, we've seen this before. We're a little bit familiar with this.
This is not our first rodeo.
Yeah, it's at least your 3rd rodeo. And by then you should know everything.
Per goblin.
Character creation! Your characters are people hacking their way through shitty opulent court life in whatever setting you like. If you don't remember a shitty opulent court life, that's cool, tweak away, but keep in mind the prompts and challenges are written with a period romance court intrigue setting in mind.
Do you have any particular thoughts on that? Like, that passage implies that it's like real world historical shitty court life, but the art extremely doesn't.
Depicts gay elves.
One of them's like a cat.
Yeah. No, I have to admit, I was thinking a bit of the I admit I was thinking a bit of the Otome Games standard output kind of thing you get from, well, admittedly, in my case, from the anime My Next Life as a Villainess, All Roads Lead to Doom, which is to say, a fairly generic period fantasy style scenario where you have froofy dresses and ballroom kind of dances, but also there is some magic, and you don't see peasants, and there's probably good bathrooms, so not everyone smells like poo.
So your typical sort of human-centric anime fantasy.
Yeah.
Human-centric is in, well, you're not all humans, but, pointy ears are aesthetic.
And, by the way, we're old enough anime fans that we wouldn't normally specify this, but because there are younger anime fans and anime has taken a turn towards this lately, that doesn't mean slavery. Alright? Just assume there's no slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in an otome, not an isekai.
Okay. Each player should create a character, give them an appearance, and decide how they're addressed. Names, pronouns, titles if they have any. Describe their personalities to each other in a few words, and choose a reason why they're currently unhappy, dissatisfied, or yearning. Decide on a brief background and any other details you feel you need to flesh them out and place them in setting and story.
I have been forming some ideas, but mostly I'd like for you to go first, if that's okay.
Alright. Well, given the Otome game setting vibe, I think that this character is a young lady who has, unfortunately, been selected to be one of the dud routes on life's Otome game. She has older sisters, and she's probably the least hot, as it were, which means that they're all where various protagonisty characters are showing up and getting into interesting courtly intrigue, and it's very and her.
I'm thinking somebody who has a complicated double life to lead because they have accidentally taken the place of someone who's normally nice, and they're kind of a heinous bitch.
That's a good thought. Her reason for her dissatisfaction is that she knows full well that no one in the court will ever appreciate her unbound capacity for violence.
Are you playing me?
Wow. You're not in court? Jeez.
Oh, that's true.
You're allergic to nobility. It makes you break out in violence.
Next time we play this, I'm definitely going to play a stack of 3 goblins in a human suit.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Let's start with a different barometer. Where are you imagining this lies on the scale of actually romantic to full-on shenanigans bullshit? Because if we want to go pure comedy...
Honestly, I think that given the context and given that we're approaching this game for the first time, yeah, go silly. Diminish the ability to get too emotionally invested.
Oh, sure. I think you have to maintain distance. We're not trying to have, like, a serious session, but...
Let's look at some examples. A slick, light-hearted con artist who expects to be caught but just wants to enjoy the high life until then and thinks an aristocrat on their arm would be the perfect cover. An absent-minded Sion who wishes her parents would just get off her back about matchmaking so she can focus on her secret love for illegal carriage races. A tense, bitter court biographer who is tired of being overlooked and wishes he could stir things up enough to make his next book a nationwide sensation. I'm not going to lie, this character creation section is extremely difficult to use.
It's probably great if you have an idea going in, but...
Which seems to be completely at odds with everything.
Yeah, for people like me, I think you would really benefit from, like, some random trait tables or that kind of thing, just to, get the juices flowing.
Yeah, just some D6 tables would be great. You can put a lot of different interesting options there. You've got a deck of playing cards. I mean, I say this as the creator of Dog Bear, where everything is maintained by, like, 3 quirks on a table and a 2-part code name. So it's not like I'm dealing with a particularly...
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, and I've done fine in Dog Bear, so that must be all I need. Just like that little bit of a push.
Yeah.
A couple of traits to hang things on.
Some hook for what you are and what you're not. So... I'm going to suggest that your idea of 3 goblins pretending to be a person that they've replaced...
I'm going to roll it back from being, like, pure ridiculousness, alright?
Okay.
I think the isekai replacement is about the right kind of pitch, perhaps.
Sorry, the person who is isekai meets someone who thinks they're isekai.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Like
that's a fun pitch, right?
Every story that one of them talks about their past life is like, no, that doesn't sound anything like it. No, fridges weren't attached to the ceiling. What are you talking about? And then, of course, at the end of the anime, they find out that, in fact, the other one was isekai for even further in the future, and therefore they're talking about a spaceship.
You gave away the ending. Okay. Well, for now, we will go with, I am a character who is kind of an awful person who is being forced to, pretend to be a character who's like a super duper cinnamon roll.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right, so there's, either missives from the king or an isekai situation or some pre-established reputation that leaves everyone convinced that you're, in fact, the nicest person in the world, when in reality, you're a butthole who wants to stay at home and do nothing.
So done with this. Yeah. I don't know why. It could be isekai, it could be Secret Service, it could be, I don't know.
I kind of like the idea of a spy or Secret Service person.
That is cute, yeah.
You know, hey, a spy, your people kidnapped the previous person you're currently impersonating?
That seems very... yeah, I like that.
Okay,
Let's do that. It'll change if a point comes up in the story where it's like, oh no, that would be better.
Uh-huh.
I will absolutely disown it and go for something else. Because that, I think, is the best form of character creation. The kind that's poorly defined at first, and then if something comes up, you're like, oh fuck, yeah, let's say that was that all along.
You say that, but I also love Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, which is a very different kind of character creation.
Well, no, mechanically I want to have everything defined up front. But in terms of story, I can roll right out the gates with the tiefling and explain them later.
Alright. In which case, if you're dealing with a spy who is impersonating a person who has been unpersoned, I'm going to suggest that I'm going to present to you Lady Ilya Baranov, who has two loves in her life, one of which is portrait painting, the thing that she is generally regarded as being good at, the thing that the court all think that she should be doing with her life, and her other love, which is wrestling wild animals and throwing them around and going on hike adventures.
This is your character?
Yeah.
Alright. I like it. Names. Fuck. Oh, you know what? I like that better. Call me Rowan. I don't have a surname right now. I'll think of something later.
Surely it's Baranov. We're married.
Oh, yes, alright, yes, I guess so. I forgot that we were married.
I do too sometimes. But, okay, so I have...
I mean, sometimes sometimes I forget that I ever had a different surname.
And, so I've jotted down Ilya Baranov, artist and adventure idiot. And we have Rowan Baranov, not a spy. How about that?
I was gonna say, ain't a spy bitch, but okay.
All right. So Ilya wanted the marriage because it meant that she could reduce attention on her when she was going out and, fighting monsters on the countryside. Apparently bare knuckle. And Rowan wanted a marriage because it smoothed over a lot of the problems.
Rowan wanted a marriage because Rowan wanted a marriage. And I was not at liberty to stop wanting the marriage.
Aha! So when the marriage actually happened, you must have been just like, oh, well, what, you weren't into this? Oh, okay.
Oh, thank
What?
God she's not into it.
Wait, hang on. Why did we do all this thing?
Ooh, okay, I may have developed a second character trait. Also quite offended by the idea that you wouldn't be into them. Like, hang on a minute! Have you seen this?
One,
I am a 5-course and they are all desserts.
once you have characters work together to build the partnership, what does your character bring strategically to the fake marriage? What do they need? Why do they need the other person? Well, in my case, I bring an actual fucking ID.
I have IDs. I have lots of IDs. I have a family willing to vouch for me. They're very fond of me. Everybody loves Rowan because they're so sweet.
What Ilya wants, what she brings strategically to their marriage is an estate and a connected group of families and multiple older sisters and a whole bunch of avenues into courtly spaces. What she wants out of the marriage was some way to signal for everyone to fuck off.
Ah, okay.
Because, you know, she's got 3 older sisters and they're all straight.
And they're all...
Straight.
Ah!
And that led to a lot of, well, you know...
You too, obviously!
No womb let unlet. So, the sort of hope that she would, of course, continue spreading the family and more strategic marrying and whatnot. So, when this prearranged thing wound up with Rowan, she kind of jumped on it. Not necessarily because she was that into Rowan, because, like, at this point it was just letters. But because of the fact that this would sort things out. And Rowan was a gender-ambiguous name, so her parents were stupid enough not to work it out.
Yes, sounds good. Okay. What am I bringing to the marriage? Paperwork. Very extensive paperwork. Thorough documentation covering all legal concerns we as a couple might have. Don't ask why it is so meticulous. It's just a hobby.
What is your plot? What are you trying to achieve? And how do our individual desires combine to make one cohesive plan? Or why do we both want the same thing? And why do we have to be fake married to pull this off?
Definitely world peace through spy activities.
So, I'm thinking, your mission has a timer on it. You need to get a thing done by the end of the mission.
It's not, well, we can't keep someone kidnapped forever, I guess.
And then...
Can we, though?
That's called rendition.
Look, there are a lot of words you could use in this world.
Like rendition. And at that point, at the end of your mission, there's an exit strategy. You get out. And I've signed on to this because when you do your mission and do the spying thing and, I don't know, take a picture of the king's underpants or whatever, I don't actually care what your specifics
right. We're actually
are.
supposed to know each other's stuff as well, aren't we?
I mean, this is how it's forming as we go. But when you finish your spy mission, then it's like, well, I've got an exit strategy that gets me out of here, and I can arrange it so it's me and my partner get out of here, and I get to flee to the wilds and go and, you know, find glorious new vistas and amazing new things to wrestle.
So did I pitch you the idea of getting out too, and you were like, yes!
This probably came up after the marriage? Like,
probably.
After the actual wedding ceremony?
Yes, I can't imagine you got into this without being fooled.
She doesn't strike me as smart.
I hadn't noticed. What do you mean? My baby is so clever.
So, we need to be fake married. We need to maintain the fake marriage so that no one thinks it's suspicious that you are doing whatever the hell you do.
Uh-huh.
And that gets us to, hypothetically, a boat going to a different country, far away, where I don't have to correspond with my mother anymore.
I like it.
Okay. What is our place in the society?
Nobody's going to ask you uncomfortable questions about fertility.
The Baranov family is stacked. They are rich. They are all this society's conventional vision of hot. And they are in high demand for both money and power reasons, I think. What about you?
I think Rowan must have older siblings as well, because there's no way that someone who's like a sweet little buttery cinnamon roll, and comes from a noble family, is gonna get sort of left up to someone like you, right? Like, there would be other suitors.
I'm seeing a whole chorus line of older brothers who are therefore defensive and protective.
That makes sense. And also just, like, stands to inherit nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just absolute squat.
Yep.
So, like, lovely and gets you some ties to the family, but, like, anyone who is interested in a high society marriage is like, could we maybe with one of the older ones, maybe? How many estates did you say? Only 2, huh?
Alright. What are the stakes? What happens if we fail? If we fail, war.
Yeah, war between the East and the West, definitely.
That's probably going to happen in your case. The war thing. I don't want to keep harping on it, but
look,
war.
I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you, but there is a slight chance of war.
Okay, and this is going to be a very guillotine-y war.
Oh, it might not be that good.
And therefore, it would actually affect me.
We're nobles. Oh, shit!
Yeah. On the other hand, from my side, if I fail, well, for a start, this whole, duping my parents with a gender-ambiguous named partner thing, that's not going to work twice. They're going to want to check. What happens if you succeed? What happens if you fall in love? Well, we don't need to worry about that. That's not going to happen.
No, I mean, if we succeed, the world is saved, and we go our separate ways.
Yeah. On a boat to somewhere elsewhere.
To adventure! I mean, for you. I'm probably going to a spa.
You got a desk job. You got paperwork to do. Make notes of the core points of the character's goals on the play sheet. Okay. The plot. Avert war, escape empire.
I really feel like you can tell the last 2 things we watched are Villainess and Spy Family. I'm digging it!
You're the one who brought up war between the East and West. Then bring the falsehoods of the marriage, i.e. what you're going to be telling everyone. How did you meet? How and why did you fall in love? What are your shared plans for the future? Do not make notes on the character sheet of anything that is untrue. These details will have to be remembered to the best of your ability as you roleplay the ways your couple navigates the suspicion that always threatens their plans. If something is forgotten or fumbled, you'll simply have to add or change the lies. Well,
I guess I kind of cheated on this. Because, you must have met the real Rowan at some point.
Probably, yeah. Letter writing, coincidentally only ever visiting when wearing gender-ambiguous clothing. It wasn't until, the day before the wedding when it's like, oh yeah, you do realize Rowan's a girl. And hilariously, that's when Rowan got swiped, so you don't remember any of the courting.
I just want to clarify, I've not said Rowan is a girl.
Good point.
I've not said my character's a girl.
It's true. So we don't know. How did we meet? I'm going to assume there was letter writing for Ilya.
Yeah, that sounds right. Let's say we corresponded and wrote romantic stories to one another and built up a collective fan fiction.
Sounds about right. Possibly about a spy and an assassin. How or why did we fall in love? Well, there were long letters.
Saved me from a bear.
Yes. That was definitely the
right?
thing. Yeah.
Because you're a cool person who would do something like that, right?
They don't know about the bear stuff.
Oh shit, don't they? We're bad at this already. Alright, well, what's your reason then?
Well, it was, if you write enough letters to someone, it sort of just happens, doesn't it? It's how father has ascribed things.
Okay, so this is an arranged marriage then. Maybe it's not been perfect from the start. Maybe we don't paint it as being too idyllic.
Yeah.
Still, but we've come around to each other. We're warming up a little bit.
Rightio. Then we go on to how to play. Play revolves around your appearances together at society events, beginning with your debut as a newly married couple. Start with setting the scenes and introductions. Who's there, what's going on at tonight's festivities, and how it all aligns with your plot. To progress the evening, you'll take turns pulling from a deck of playing cards. For 2 players, each spouse will take turns.
As fun as the 2-couple rules seem, we lack players 3 and 4.
Yep.
So...
Alright, well, we'll just be pulling cards from the deck. If we pull a face card, that'll be a marital trial, a special challenge with greater risks and rewards. You can print out the provided material, blah, 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 blah. Read aloud and roleplay the prompts attached to the cards, and if called for, you will gain and or lose tokens in one of the 3 categories, which are affection, plot, and suspicion. Affection is the measure of how attracted to your partner you actually are, how distracting the relationship itself has become, and the subsequent disintegration of boundaries. Plot, your success at furthering your secret plans together. Suspicion, the degree to which others in your orbit see through the veneer of the marriage. Okay, so it's 2 different hit points and one. It's a hit point stat and 2 different progress bars. Okay. In the event that a token change would put one of your categories into the negatives, those tokens are actually converted as outlined below. Negative affection becomes suspicion. Negative suspicion becomes plot. Negative plot becomes affection.
I do like that. I think that's very cute.
That's a good system.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, I do wish there were a few prompts to get us going, though.
Well, that's what the cards are going to produce.
Well, you're supposed to start with the scenario and then start drawing cards.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Where do you think we debut as a newlywed couple?
Well, I mean, it would be at some sort of debutante's ball, right? That's why it's debutante. It's your debut.
Some kind of party.
Yeah.
Assume it's not the actual marriage.
Yeah. No, that was all.
It's got to be after that.
That we handled that. That happened in Canada.
We have to have had a real marriage.
No, but we had we got married on a boat.
Oh, that's very romantic. I like that.
Yes, it was just.
I've always liked boats.
It's a small, discreet affair. Mm-hmm. Finally, there is one more very important rule about token changes. If your partner player's response to a prompt or challenges make you fall more in love with their character, add 1 affection no matter what the prompt says. You'll still take any plot or suspicion changes prompted by the plot, but allow this rule to cancel out or offset affection losses. And eventually one of your boiling point challenges will result in the story coming to a close, blah, 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 blah. When you hit 10 tokens in one of the things, you get a boiling point. Okay. In which case, yes, we are debutant in a event. It's probably the first big party of the season. It's late February, so it's almost certainly going to be some sort of summer fest.
Oh, festering is right.
Yeah, like layers upon layers of expensive silks in
summer. I hate this already. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, okay. They probably got the ballroom like magically cooled.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
We showing opulence by having like ice sculptures and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. One of those punch bowls that's a fountain. Live music.
Yeah, almost certainly.
All right. Yeah.
Almost certainly. Unless there's like some elaborate constructs that play the music.
I like it. You're thinking of more magical shit than I am. I like that.
Well, you see, one of us is an artist.
No, you know what? Definitely a band.
Yeah?
Because if there needs to be a contact, a band is a really good place to infiltrate.
I see.
Yes.
All right, well, draw a card.
That's a 9.
A 9 of clubs. Okay. Has your character ever had as much fun as they're having in this fake marriage? If no, +1 affection. If this is par for the course, -1 suspicion. If it sucks, +1 affection. Sorry, if it sucks, -1 affection.
What, right now?
We kind of just got started.
Yeah.
Have they ever had as much fun as they're having right now? I mean, no. You haven't had this much fun. We just started.
These are 2 very complicated questions. Like, let's pretend I have 2 wolves inside me, and one of them is fun, but the other one is wearing extremely hot clothes and pretending to be nice to everybody.
Well, based on this, I'm going to assume that we get the negative suspicion one, in which case we get +1 plot.
Yeah, I think this is par for the course. Very little has happened. I think we're both feeling fairly... Use my dice system. You're going to run out of dice, love.
You see, dice have representations of numbers on them.
Oh, well in that case use the 2d10s.
There is a little frog in this dice.
It's a turtle.
Well, I suck at identifying turtles.
It's a very little frog. So little it is in fact a turtle.
That's actually probably a pretty big frog, really.
I mean, there are very small turtles and very big frogs. Really, both of them are top-tier categories of animals. You should get more respect. Aminals?
Aminals.
Alimams.
Okay. Yes.
Malamars. Marshmallows.
So do we just keep pulling cards?
I think so. I mean,
Alright.
we're supposed to roleplay a bit, but I don't know. I don't feel like that one warranted all that much. Do you?
I might have jumped the gun on pulling a card, but oh well.
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, do we want to sit around small talking necessarily unless we're particularly moved to by the cards?
I admit, I kind of thought that the cards would have something on them more than that, but maybe we just pulled a fluke.
A lot of them do. But I think...
We shall find out.
Yeah, like a lot of the trials have really active stuff on them. Like, you know, there's an old flame or something.
Like it says, read aloud and roleplay the prompts attached to the cards. And it did present us with a perfectly legitimate, interesting question, which is to say, have you ever had as much fun? And the answer is, no.
And, like, answering a question in character is still role-playing. We don't have to be acting a scene unless we want to be.
Yeah. Alright, in which case, I guess I'll pull the next card. But I'm assuming during this event, Ilya is roaming and looking at all the different artworks on display, just being the tiniest bit judgy.
Oh, that's right. You love art or something, don't you? I mean, oh, that's right. My darling Ilya is fascinated by the arts, specifically her own art. She's very good, I think.
I didn't go to college for 4 years to be something.
There you go, see? I remembered.
You're an amazing master of stuff.
That might be a bad spy.
Alright. Nine of diamonds.
Good shuffling.
That's fucking incredible.
That depends how it was sorted.
Do you know what the odds of those two cards coming out like that is?
1 in 52 times 1 in 52?
Yeah. Not actually
the same as for any other two cards in the deck?
Exactly.
Wow!
Did you have mutual friends before this or overlap between your social circles? Oh, so no. I mean, me and Rowan did.
I know, and I'm Rowan, remember? Why would I be anyone else?
If the connections are slight, +1 plot. If they were completely separate, +1 suspicion.
Oh, there was that one autumn where I was absolutely sure one of my brothers was going to wind up engaged to your sister. Do you remember?
Well, I mean, the other thing is, if the connections are slight, you are connected to the person I was flirting with pretty well.
What person?
The person who I was actually sending letters to.
Oh, sure. What, you were flirting? Were you actually being saucy?
Oh my god.
I need to know about this.
Oh my god. If I wasn't having whalebone stick into my ribs right now,
wait, no.
I would suplex you off the balcony.
I have a better version of that.
Go on.
That was flirting? Oh. I'm so sorry. I will readjust my understanding.
Come here, dear. I'd like to hold your hand.
Of course.
Grind, grind, grind. Alright. After you.
I like this going a bit more rapid fire, especially since we don't have too long to play. I got an 8 of hearts.
Incidentally, that puts us at 2 plot. 8 of hearts. Your eyes are glazing over during a particularly empty conversation and you find yourself thinking about past lovers. How is your spouse different from people you've loved in the past? What do they have in common? Leaning over and just intent watching.
Eh? Oh, I'm so sorry. My mind was drifting a little.
What were you thinking about, dear? Grind, grind, grind.
I was thinking about that lovely painting you were working on. You know the one with the sun breaking through the clouds?
Oh my god, you've never had any other partners, have you? You utter...
Of course not! I'm Rowan. Why would I have had any other partners?
Well, I assume Rowan had other partners. Rowan was nice. People liked Rowan.
That doesn't mean she That doesn't mean anyone was getting busy.
That doesn't mean... There's a whole bunch of space between getting busy and people like you, and I think you just demonstrated something about your spying technique. Not that I'm saying that aloud.
Partners is a different thing. Partners has implications.
Past lovers.
Lovers has many implications.
Yeah, and you're the one who seemed to think that it means that Rowan was getting the ankles in the air, as opposed to just people who liked Rowan.
What about you?
Oh, I had a bunch of girlfriends in college.
You're a bunch of lovers? I can't imagine your family would have been very happy with that.
They weren't in the room.
Married a hoe.
Alright, here we go. 8 of diamonds. Which eye-rolling inducing personality traits of your spouses has actually started to come up kind of hot now you think about it?
Hang on a minute.
Yes?
Come outside, we're going to talk, dear.
You
need to tell
is
me...
the cool getting to you? Step outside, immediately swamp humidity just like flattens off.
Let's go back inside. We need to talk.
Bracing and comfortable out here. Sorry, do you have a question?
All these things.
Because this is when the peasants are doing their things, and it's all very festively.
I was told your country was dreadfully cold.
I mean, it is in the winter. All these swamps freeze over.
You're changing the subject. You mean to tell me that all this time you've not been some kind of asexual adventure ponce? You've not only had a girlfriend, you've had multiple girlfriends. And yet you're not interested in this.
Well, you see...
You never even tried to put a move on me. Even when you didn't know.
Well, you see, Rowan has a personality of sorts that...
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
So, 8 of diamonds. Which eye-rolling personality trait of your spouse is actually excited to come off kind of hot? Yeah, I gotta admit, the high dungeon is very attractive.
I win. and I'm definitely not turned on by you being hard to get. Just so we're clear on that. Are we even keeping score?
I don't know, this is just fun. 2 of clubs. You find out you're both enormous enthusiasts of one specific thing, something so niche that conversations about it are hard to come by. An obscure card game, a nearly extinct language, a critically reviled painter. What is your shared obsession?
Oh, Christ. I can't think out here, it's too hot.
Yes, quick, let's go inside, where it's nice and cool. Oh, look, a flugelhorn.
I'm glad we stepped out for a bit of fresh air. Wasn't that refreshing, darling?
You have condensation on your face.
Condense your face. No, that's your
line. Do you want to try it? Sudden pro wrestling moment. Okay, a shared interest. Okay, so then you come up with... Like, my first thought is that surely a spy would be interested in, like, obscure weapons or knives or something like that, or stealth assassination techniques or whatnot.
I was going to say something on the food table.
Oh, yes.
I'm more than my job, Talen.
No, you're not.
Or whatever your name is. Ilya?
Ilya.
Ilyana.
Ilya Baronov.
I'm so glad we didn't come up against the thing where you have to try and remember your spouse's name.
Yeah, that would be extremely brutal.
You say Baronov?
Yeah.
Like enough bears?
Yeah.
How did I get into this? Shouldn't that be? Oh, no, I guess this is obviously a kind of weird society, so...
It is a European society as filtered through a Australian's perception of Japan's perception of Russia. So
I was going to say, shouldn't that be my surname? But
that would require you to declare some kind of agenda.
probably.
And besides, the Baronov family is just the more prestigious one. I'm sure your family understands. Look, the sooner we get done with this, the sooner we both get out of here. And the sooner I can go back to having girlfriends. At a time.
I'm going to go listen to the band.
Okay, so hand up. I think that this is probably a good point to do something of a rap. Because I just laughed so hard, the back of my hair hurts.
Oh no, but I'm having fun! Alright, let's go to a pull face card. I want to do a trial.
Alright, let's stack out.
You can stack the deck a bit if you want, yeah. What is our shared interest?
Food?
Well, I was gonna say, what if there's a particular song playing that we both recognize? And we were into it before everyone else thought it was cool.
But it needs to be something that, that wouldn't that's obscure or niche, so no one would necessarily bring it up. So it's be something that people know of, but no one likes, like ska music or something.
You wouldn't necessarily recognize it being covered by a string quartet and an oboe.
So this is like Cruel Angel's thesis, where like you start that on a fucking bicycle horn, and everyone's like, "Oh, I know what that is."
He stacked us all the way to a Jack of Spades.
A Jack of Spades. All right. Oh, it just says draw a marshal. Okay. So hey,
So the cards are at the end of the book.
Slight weakness here of the design in that there's no specific, despite the fact that there are in fact 12 marital trials, face cards don't correspond to them. So it says, if you got a Jack of Spades, draw a marital trial.
Okay.
So of them.
Well, just count them in the same order as the suit sections are. And we got the first one of whatever spades is.
Okay, that'll be the fourth one, so... Dancing, obviously.
Oh!
What's a social event without a turn around the ballroom? Play rock, paper, scissors against each other 8 times, and count the number of times you play the same move. Oh my god! Alright. Ready? John, Ken, Pon. John, Ken, Pon. John, Ken, Pon. John, Ken, Pon.
How many times do we do it? Good old rock! Nothing beats rock!
Okay, so we just got the exact same thing all 8 times. Because I know that Fox
Woohoo!
always picks rock.
Always picks rock! Nothing beats rock. Oh, that was beautiful. That's a good way to do that challenge. I like that very much.
But here's the best part.
Even if I cheated.
With 4 players, the other pair is free to keep an eye on you and raise hell if they think you're cheating or giving each other a signal. If you match 6 to 8 times, you feel like you've danced together 1,000,000 times. What is this about this? Is making the rest of the couples fade away? What touch or gesture finally brings you back? What kind of excuses are you going to make to dance for much longer than you originally planned? +3 affection. -1 plot.
Oh no!
0 to 2 times. You can't find a rhythm. You're actually so bad at this, you're starting to irritate the other couples on the floor. Maybe you should just forget it and go focus on your real plans. Which one of you gets fed up first? +2 of suspicion, +1 plot, -1 affection. And 3 to 5 times. You're perfectly charming together and you dance just enough to make sure everyone sees you enjoying yourselves. What do you think about this while you dance, instead of thinking about your hands on each other's waists? -1 suspicion, +3 plot. So I like that a lot. That's a really good, clever kind of resolution mechanic. That's cool.
And it means that I could have thrown it down to the mid-tier, if I wanted to.
Yeah, you could absolutely, and ironically, the character of Rowan being, very manipulative, is...
Yes, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, but on the other hand, in this case...
roleplay in the challenge.
But also here, Ilya very clearly was capable of meeting whatever was being thrown. I just picked you up, didn't I? Just like, lift you slightly and just danced around with you like a prop.
How Hey!
That's not hot at all.
Definitely not previously thought about not being picked up by a woman who could lift me over her head. The spy who's discovering they want to be bench pressed. I think that's a good explanation, because that was definitely, I did what I was going to do anyway.
Yeah.
You just rolled with it.
Yep. Rock meets rock. So, that brings us up to about an hour of play, which is going to be whittled down a little on the actual edit, but I think that that's a reasonable representation of how Eyes on the Prize works, the kinds of systems it has. We had some complaints going through it, and I'm not going to ask you to recap everything, though, feel free to if you want.
Oh, it's just like any improv game. If you stall, then things die.
Yeah.
So it could use things to fill those gaps in an emergency.
Yeah, a certain degree of lubrication would be good.
Basically, it just prompts to start things off. They have very good prompts to keep things going.
Yeah. Like these marital trials, looking at them, are pretty interesting. There's certainly a measure of the design that feels like the 4 players version is super useful, because the other 2 players add a resistance element. So, for example, the in matrimonial memories, you can get asked questions, and if it's 2 players, you have to come up with a question and then try and answer it. But if it's 4 players, the other couple gets to try and ask you questions that will fuck with you. And I think that that's really useful. Which isn't to say, like, oh, badly done game. This is a small, cheap game on itch. I'm definitely not...
It's there are... Having the option for a PvP is always going to add some stuff that doesn't work as well in single player. Or you've wasted your PvP.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one or the other. So I don't hold that against it. And, if we decided that something was boring, we could always just skip to the next card.
Yeah. And I don't think that I have the improv chops to keep this thing spinning, but we still managed... like, you've seen enough improv now, especially on the internet, to know that one person can help another partner along if someone else stumbles.
Oh, you mean if I'd totally blank, you wouldn't have thought that you could keep things rolling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, with just basically an hour of time, we constructed 2 very charming characters and took them to a ball and had some very funny dialogue, and that was fun.
I do want to play the rest of this game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you record it, but...
Yeah, and I'm going to... unless there is an immense outcry from my audience and fans on Patreon, you should definitely like, comment, subscribe, and do all the things to get my attention. I wasn't planning on recording more of this, but hey, maybe we will. It would be a bit of a different thing to put on the channel.
It would be.
Now, before we go, Fox, do you have any places you'd like to direct people to look at your stuff?
Oh, gosh. I was not expecting that. Go to www.invincible.inc. It's where all our stuff winds up in some form or another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Mastodon now at The Art Gremlin at kind.social.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess at Twitch/The Art Gremlin, but that is on hiatus at the moment because RSI is no fun for anyone involved. Though I am looking to start up some short art streams, with a strict time limit on them. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah. Alright, this was heaps of fun. Thank you very much for your time and your patience, and for your dice with the weird little frogs inside.
Weird shell frogs who look a lot like turtles for some reason.